This crazy world makes no sense at all. Still here we are. One kiss, two hearts, one love. One moon with a million stars up above. You're everywhere I wanna be. I can't get enough of your touch. It's never enough. One kiss, two hearts, one love. One kiss, two hearts, one love.
Waouh, j'ai des frissons comme tous les mercredis soirs.
C'était très 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 bien. Bonjour à tous et bienvenue donc sur l'émission Biloba TV. Je vous rappelle que vous pouvez nous retrouver en live sur diverses plateformes comme YouTube, Instagram, Facebook et Twitch.tv et également en podcast sur radiolausanne.com, Spotify, Amazon Music et Apple Podcast. N'hésitez pas à réagir en direct en mettant des commentaires au niveau des chats. On posera les questions en direct à l'artiste et on essaiera d'y répondre le plus vite possible. Soutenez la chaîne évidemment en likant et partageant un maximum ce live. Bonjour David, enchanté, comment tu vas? How are you today?
I'm doing great. I got here early and how's this work? Like to shave with it? It's on, right?
It's on, yeah.
Yes, I got I got here early, and right across the street was the Titanic Museum Exposition.
Donc il est arrivé très tôt et puis en fait, juste à côté à Lausanne on a le musée du Titanic en ce moment, donc il est allé le visiter en faisant passer le temps parce qu'il arrivait un peu plus tôt que prévu, donc il a apprécié apparemment l'exposition et vaut le coup. Donc aujourd'hui on fera l'émission donc en anglais comme vous l'avez compris. J'essaierai de traduire un maximum les réponses et les questions. Si j'oublie, ne m'en voulez pas. Je fais de mon mieux. Just saying that I will translate all the questions and that we will do the interview in English.
Oh, I understand French.
So
I got it down. I know how to say anti-pop. Yeah, the windscreen in French. Will told me this. He's going, hey, how do you say windscreen in French? He goes, it's anti-pop. And I'm going, I like that.
Il a appris du coup un nouveau mot en français, donc le filtre anti-pop pour qu'on met devant le micro. Donc voilà, c'était son nouveau mot appris aujourd'hui. Donc on va te présenter, essayer de voir un petit peu toute ta carrière et tout ce que tu as fait, parce que tu as fait plein de choses. So we will try to discover all your career and all that what you did in your life, because there is a lot. Maybe we can start by where you come from, because you come from the US.
Yes.
And you moved to Switzerland 25 years ago, I think.
Yes. Well, 30 years ago. I was married
30, okay.
25 years ago.
Okay.
Been married 25, but I came to Switzerland in 95.
Donc
94.
Il est né aux États-Unis et donc il est arrivé en Suisse il y a un peu plus de 30 ans maintenant. Il est marié du coup avec sa femme et il vit sur Zürich. So how came the idea to come to Switzerland? Why coming into Zurich? Why Switzerland actually?
Well, 1994, I was living in California, and I got a booking in Zurich because somebody got sick. And the agent, I said, well, can I play more than one month? She goes, we will see. So it was like my audition. But I felt good about it, and so I ended up staying 18 months before I went back.
Donc en 94, il vivait en Californie et en fait, il est venu remplacer un artiste dans un club ici à Lausanne. Ça devait être temporaire, pas à Lausanne, pardon, en Suisse. Ça devait être temporaire et finalement, il est resté plus longtemps que prévu. So I guess you love Switzerland now. You're used to it.
Yes, I love Switzerland. Well, like I said, I came over in late 94.
Alors les copains, je suis obligé de vous couper parce qu'on a une coupure internet, du coup il n'y a plus de live, on a une coupure.
So no, we have internet lost connection. So
That
there is
never
no live.
happens. In entertainment,
On va
that
attendre un
never
petit peu
happens.
parce qu'il n'y a plus, hein, donc du coup.
Okay, so we need to
okay.
wait.
Bon, vous pouvez continuer parce que j'enregistre avec l'iPad de toute façon, je pourrais retransmettre après.
Tu pourras mettre en direct après.
Ouais.
Ok.
Continuez, puis quand ça se reconnecte, ça se reconnecte.
We will follow and the live will continue after.
Sure.
So yeah, you came from the US. So you were born in the US.
And I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Donc il est né à Baton Rouge en Louisiane.
Yeah, March 20th, 1961. That's okay, it's all right.
En mars 61.
So March 20th, so everybody, you still have some shopping days for my birthday, just to let you know. Yeah, and my father was born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Son père est né à Indianapolis, en Indiana.
But his father got a job in Baton Rouge when my father was 18.
Et donc en fait, son père a déménagé à cause de son arrière-grand-père, finalement, qui a eu un job en Louisiane.
Yeah.
Donc c'est pour ça qu'ils ont déménagé du coup en Louisiane. Du coup.
So 1952 that was, and so my father discovered music and a couple years later rock and roll, and he went on to have the #1 rock and roll band in Baton Rouge for about 5 years and got to play with all the legendary greats and Fats Domino and Little Richard and Chuck Berry and recorded at Cosmos Studio in New Orleans, which is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But the misconception about rock and roll in the 50s was it was usually on one station for 15, 20 minutes a day. The public, they think, oh, rock and roll was just everybody was listening on all the stations. Not in 1955. So that's where my dad started, was playing rock and roll in the 50s in Louisiana.
Ok, donc son père a découvert la musique justement en déménageant en Louisiane et est tombé dedans. Il a commencé du coup à jouer et à écrire, notamment avec les plus grands de l'époque, notamment dans le rock and roll. Et il me disait du coup, petite anecdote, c'est que à l'époque, le rock and roll ne passait pas tout le temps à la radio, mais seulement du coup des périodes de temps assez courtes. Donc voilà, c'était pas très connu comme ça l'est du coup maintenant. Donc j'imagine que cette enfance baignée un petit peu dans la musique t'a beaucoup influencé pour devenir aussi artiste. So I guess your childhood being into music make you become an artist as well?
Very much so. The family split up when I was about 5. And unusually, my father raised my brother and I by himself. And he's a musician in the 60s. I was born in 61.
Donc à 5 ans, du coup, sa famille s'est séparée. Donc il a été élevé avec son frère et son père tout seul dans ces années-là.
And so we were living in a one-room apartment in an old VW bus. And then he was a songwriter also. And he was putting out records, but nothing happened. But when I was about 6 years old, he wrote a song called Snoopy versus the Red Baron, which was about Snoopy and the Red Baron, Manfred von Richthofen. And it was a surprise smash hit in 1966 and sold 3 million records in late 1966.
Ok, donc son père, du coup, donc, à cette époque-là, a essayé d'écrire et de composer des chansons. Donc c'était un peu difficile au début. Et finalement, quand il avait 6 ans, son père a écrit un morceau qui s'appelle Snoopy et versus les Bâtons Rouges, qui a cartonné, qui a fait plus de 3 millions de titres vendus. Et donc c'est là où tout a commencé finalement. Okay. So after all this childhood, you decided to come to Europe, to Zürich precisely. So how did you start being an artist? Did you start by singing, by writing song? What was your first experience into music?
I taught myself how to play piano about age 8, 9, and so I can't read notes. I had no proper training. Maybe I could play solos better.
Donc il a appris le piano par lui-même. Il peut pas lire les notes, mais du coup à l'âge de 8 ans, du coup il a commencé à apprendre le piano.
And And then I played since I was 12, and I've written songs since I was. But my father was never someone to say, "Yeah, son, go for it." Never. He would just kind of say, "Okay, go ahead."
Okay.
And
Son père le laissait un petit peu faire de son coin, il l'a pas vraiment poussé.
so really, the artist thing happened. I've been writing songs my whole life, but when I came to Europe in '94, then I started writing more because I was playing more and performing more.
Donc, il a toujours écrit des chansons et du coup en arrivant en Europe il en a juste écrit plus parce que du coup il pratiquait plus de la musique, donc ça l'a poussé finalement à écrire plus de chansons.
Mm-hmm. And then when I got married to my lovely wife Sonia, she's from Eschlikon and Torgau. That's I was going to make a joke about that, but I can't. She's watching. If she wasn't here, hey. So we got married in '99. And I told her, I don't want to play 5-6 nights a week, coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to focus even more on writing. So I got yes.
Donc quand il s'est marié donc avec sa femme Sonia, il voulait plus en fait travailler, enfin jouer en tout cas 5 à 6 soirs par semaine jusqu'à 2 heures du matin. Il voulait plutôt se concentrer justement sur l'écriture de chansons.
Mm-hmm. And so now I got a certified English trainer from Cambridge, and I got my certificate to teach English to adults. Now I can start, maybe going to the studios and seeing what's going on. So I went to go see Urs Wiesendanger at Power Play Studios in Mauer just to record some tracks.
Okay. Donc il a obtenu donc un certificat de Cambridge pour enseigner l'anglais. Donc ça lui a permis du coup de vivre un petit peu. Et à côté, donc il a commencé à faire des enregistrements dans des studios pour développer de la musique.
And so and he heard my songs and he says, by the way, Urs Wiesendanger is a really charming guy. He's fluent in English, but he sounds like he's from New York. Okay. I don't know how he does it. So he talks to me like this. He's going, hey, who wrote these lyrics? And I'm going, well, I wrote them. And he's going, I've been looking for a guy like you for 15 years. And I'm going, really? And he gives me a big stack of CDs. He's going, can you write lyrics today? I already did the melody, so he's just singing what's called dummy words. Like, baby dance and it's in your face.
Au studio donc, où il était, finalement le producteur a adoré les paroles qu'il écrivait et apparemment du coup c'était un peu ce qu'il attendait depuis des années. Et donc il lui a donné tout un tas de CD où c'était des bandes son enregistrées avec un peu de yaourt dessus et il lui a demandé de mettre des paroles finalement sur ces titres.
And so I was really good at writing lyrics to his melody. So if he went, every time this is that, then I would say, every time that I see your, mm-hmm. and I would get the phrasing of his melody. And I spent a lot of time doing that. And then 2 months later, he calls me and he goes, Dave, I'm going to be working for the SFDRS, the Music Stars show. This is 2004. And they have several producers, but he's one of the producers on the Music Stars show.
Donc il a commencé à vouloir travailler, enfin il a été appelé pour travailler au Music Store Show, alors chose que je ne connais pas, j'ai pas plus de détails, et donc apparemment c'est assez connu à l'époque.
So I'm teaching English during the day, and at night I go to the studio.
Donc à cette époque-là, il continue à donner des cours la journée, et le soir il allait en studio pour enregistrer.
And there was a moment when I was at Power Play, when he goes, Dave, come over here. Look, you see these vocals? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick out the best parts and cut them up and put them back together again. Mm-hmm. And I said, I've never done. Oh, no, you know what to do. He always said, you got the music in you, Dave. You can do it. So he was very encouraging to me. So I owe Urs a lot for that.
Donc il lui a demandé du coup de finalement prendre les parties les plus intéressantes de plusieurs titres pour les assembler, donc chose qu'il n'avait jamais fait. Et le producteur l'a vraiment poussé, il lui a fait confiance en lui disant qu'il avait la musique en lui et qu'il était capable de le faire.
And then there was a moment when I'm working there, it's called comping vocals, you're editing vocals. And I turned around, and there's a guitar player over there, he's on a computer working, and I look over here, and Urs is over there working on a drum patches, mm-hmm. And I said, oh no, I'm in the music business now.
C'est à ce moment-là où il s'est rendu compte qu'il était dans le business de la musique finalement. Il avait réussi en fait.
And then he got the show, and then I was writing songs, And when the Swiss person would come in and sing, I would say, hey, I think I can help her sing without the Swissness in her voice. I can help her with, she's singing forever, and it's forever, for, you know, you, not you, you know. Oh, sorry. And, sorry, tech. And so then I started coaching the singers on how to sound naturally, give them a more natural sound.
Et du coup, à ce moment-là, elle a commencé aussi à coacher finalement les chanteurs qui passaient aussi dans le studio, justement pour enlever finalement cet accent suisse qu'on a un peu tous, enfin, les Suisses en tout cas, pas moi. Et du coup, voilà, donc il est devenu coach vocal finalement.
So Urs was chosen for the winner's single, and we didn't know who that was going to be because it was Piero, God, I forgot his name, Mario, right, Pacchioli, and Carmen Fink, and we didn't know who was going to win, but Urs knew that he was going to produce the winner's single. So Carmen Fink wins, and then Urs calls me, and he's going, Dave, you're going to be the vocal coach for Carmen Fink. And I said, hey, wait. The television show already has somebody. No, you're going to do it. I say, I'm not a vocal coach. What were you doing yesterday? Well, okay, so I said yes.
Donc, finalement, le producteur lui a demandé d'être le coach vocal du gagnant, enfin du finaliste de l'émission, et du coup, ouais.
And then Universal saw me do the vocal coaching, and then they asked me to do the album, and then they asked me to do some other artists. So then that just became something else that I did. I was kind of the vocal coach, you know, guy for other artists with Universal. And if they were doing a song that I had written, then it was important for me to make sure that it was sung properly.
Finally, everything starts from the studio.
That's where it started. That's where it
tout a
started
commencé finalement de ce studio. Toute son expérience et tous ses jobs finalement, parce que du coup il y a quand même pas mal de choses. Donc il y a l'écriture, il y a la composition, il y a le coaching de voix. Tout a commencé à partir de là. Est-ce que finalement ta vie aux États-Unis t'a aidé justement à débuter en Suisse? Est-ce que ça t'a permis d'avancer plus facilement, ou est-ce qu'au contraire ça a été un blocage? So, was your background from the US a good point for starting in Switzerland, or was it more difficult because you came from the US? Does your background help you to start in this industry?
It's like two different lives, you know. In California, I was doing stand-up comedy, late 80s and the early 90s.
Stand-up.
Yeah, and I worked really hard at that. And I had just, right before I came to Switzerland, I was doing a 90-minute set at the Ice House in Pasadena. I wasn't a headliner. I wasn't playing big clubs.
Donc il faisait un 90 minutes à Pasadena, du coup, à ce moment-là, juste avant de partir en Europe.
But I played the Riviera in Vegas. I middled there, as they say, because most comedy shows is a headliner, a middle, an opener. And so I'd worked my way to a middle act. And I had a job during the day, and at night, I did stand-up comedy. So when I said, oh, I'm going to Switzerland to play piano, they were like, you play piano? Well, yeah, and I sing too. And
finalement, c'était un gros changement de vie.
They were surprised that I left and didn't come back for so long. And I'll continue later about how working with Urs Wiesendanger led to me writing more and then writing on my own. And that wasn't until about 2011 I started writing on my own, and go ahead.
Yeah, because we are still at the beginning of your life now.
Oh yes, it was my dream. I mean, my father did that full time, and you know, my dad's written songs for recorded by Marvin Gaye and Harry Belafonte and Ray Charles and Bob Dylan and Cher, and you know, we could spend the whole hour talking about, because I'm his biggest fan. I'm his biographer, his historian.
Son père a travaillé avec de grands artistes aussi, donc c'est vrai que ça l'a aussi beaucoup inspiré et je pense poussé à continuer dans cette voie-là. Mais j'ai vu sur internet que toi aussi tu as quand même travaillé avec de grands artistes et tu as fait pas mal de choses. I have seen on internet that you also work with big artists as well, and you did a lot of different things. So it's impressive to be a songwriter, a producer, teaching English. So
I love teaching. I know.
How can you
I love
do
teaching
all that in one day? It's not possible to do all that in one day. What's the secret of that?
Well, what did you say?
What's the secret of doing so many things?
Just being interested in a lot of different things.
But can you focus on all these things?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what led, and the funny thing is, my grandfather graduated from the Westminster Choir College, which is the largest choir. He's a minister of vocal teaching, and he hated any music after 1900. He never saw my dad play music. And so when I'm doing all this vocal coaching, I'm going, if my grandfather saw me, he would go, what are you doing? You know, so that's kind of strange. But what happened in 2010, I was at the Hip Mill with Freddie Herman. We know George Schluneger, and we know, you know, Roman Kamenz. I'm at the Hip Mill, and I simply said, hey, I am a consultant. I'm a vocal coach. I'm a co-writer. I would like to be sitting in the producer's chair making all the decisions, like Will is over there. And I said, but I don't have 50,000 francs. And Freddie Herman looked at me and he goes, you don't need 50,000 francs. An iMac 27 and Logic Pro is 300 and some speakers. And he really, what? And then that's when I started producing on my own, was from that conversation with Freddie Herman at the Hip Mill.
Il voulait du coup aussi composer, enfin commencer à produire de la musique, et donc il pensait que produire de la musique coûtait cher, parce que du coup le matériel coûte cher, et finalement donc ce Freddie Herman lui a expliqué que non, pas forcément, il suffisait juste d'un logiciel et puis d'un ordinateur et on pouvait commencer.
And that led to, well, this kind of leads into the next song I'm going to play.
Which is?
Well, it's a song called Odeon, and there's just a little story behind that. From 2004 to 2010, I had written songs on my own, not co-written. And every time I sent them to the producer, they would go, it's okay.
Donc il a toujours commencé à écrire des chansons, et à chaque fois il les envoyait au producteur, du coup ça n'a jamais vraiment plu.
Yeah, but I figured out the reason, they would put the song in the loop, but the reason, because they didn't co-write it. And they don't have an interest in the song. They don't
parce que
have
les
to publish
producteurs du
it
coup
on
n'avaient
it.
pas coécrit, donc ils n'avaient pas d'intérêt du coup à les finalement produire.
I thought maybe my songs just weren't good enough. Well, I'm going to write anyway. I like my music. And so in 2012, I said, oh, now I can be my own publisher. I can be my own producer. I can be my own
donc
artist.
Il s'est dit qu'il pouvait devenir du coup son propre producteur, son propre artiste finalement, et donc il a décidé de se lancer en solo pour écrire ses propres chansons. Mais c'est marrant du coup que tu dises que la prochaine chanson est Odéon. Alors du coup je ne savais pas du coup à l'avance, mais ma prochaine question justement concernait Odéon. So it's funny because I didn't know the order of your track, and my next question is about Odéon.
Yeah.
So it's really good. So Odéon has been played on Swiss radio for decades. So what was the inspiration behind Odéon?
Well, it's the first song that I recorded and wrote all on my own, words and music.
C'est la première chanson qu'il a écrite par lui-même et enregistrée par lui-même.
And that I produced. So I got Logic Pro, right?
Avec
which is Billie
Pro.
Eilish uses the same thing. It's $300, folks.
C'est le même logiciel que utilise Billie Eilish. Ça coûte $300.
But it's endless the amount of education you can learn from it, and I still don't know
Tu peux apprendre
everything there.
beaucoup du coup de ce logiciel. Et apparemment, c'est sans fin.
So the influence of that song came a student of mine and a friend of mine named Marcus Roof, and he is
Donc, il a été influencé par un de ses étudiants et un de ses amis qui s'appelle Marcus Roof.
And he is the owner, the co-manager with Daniel Luntz,
Qui est co-manager.
of the largest independent advertising agency in Switzerland.
De la plus grosse société de publicité de Suisse, apparemment.
Anyway, we have a lesson every week. I go to his office, we talk about, it's English conversation, culture, art, politics.
Donc toutes les semaines, il va discuter du coup avec lui d'un peu tout en anglais.
And he said he saw the movie Midnight in Paris by Woody Allen.
Donc il a vu le film Midnight in Paris by Woody Allen.
I love Woody Allen. I don't care what anybody says. I love Woody Allen. I love his movie and his history. So I go see the movie, and the next lesson with Marcos, I said, I love the literary bars where the artists and the painters used to go in that movie. I love it. I wish there were a place in Zürich like that.
Donc il a adoré les décors de ce film, et il dit qu'il aimerait du coup un endroit pareil à Zurich.
And He said, there is. It's the Odeon.
Il a dit qu'en fait ça existait, que ça s'appelait du coup l'Odéon.
And I said, that's going to be my next song. So I wrote the
C'est
music
devenu
first.
sa chanson finalement.
I wrote the music first, and I knew it was going to be kind of a swing, da, da, da. And so I have the melodies always down. So
Donc il a écrit la mélodie d'abord.
ba-da, 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 you know, and I had all that. Because I usually improvise for about a half hour, and then I pick out the parts that I like.
Donc il improvise pendant une demi-heure et puis après
Yeah.
il prend les morceaux finalement qu'il apprécie le plus.
Yeah, and then as we know, because parts are repeated in a song, you only need about 45 seconds of music in a 3-minute song, because you repeat the verse, you repeat the
Donc
chorus.
finalement dans une musique de 3 minutes, il y a juste besoin de 45 minutes de vraiment de morceaux, enfin de sons, parce qu'en fait il y a beaucoup de parties qui se répètent.
Yeah, and I really researched the song. I studied like a student the history of the Odeon. Everybody
Il a
that went
étudié
there.
énormément l'histoire de l'Odéon.
It's the kind of writing that I like when I write lyrics, because I'm not trying to write the lyric. I'm 10, 15 pages, everybody. And I knew it was going to be something where I walk in the Odeon and I see these people. And I see the Art Nouveau chandelier. And there's James Joyce, and there's,
Donc il a beaucoup travaillé finalement pour écrire les paroles et finalement c'est un peu l'histoire de se balader dans l'Odéon et d'expliquer un petit peu tout ce qu'il voyait.
And the lyrics, I know a bar not very far, less than a minute from the limit close to the Cronin Hall, where literaries and Mataharis and Russian revolutionaries would meet after dark. And then Albert Einstein I see with James Joyce and Hermann Hesse singing, nowadays too many people are willing to die, but not
I
to
think
live.
the best way to
It's a
see
quote.
that
I know,
is just
Dave,
to play it.
Where's your piano? You should be singing the song.
So I think it's time to
It's time
hear
to
it.
play Odeon.
So I think you can
time to
go-
play Odeon, the
Yeah,
song.
you can go.
And yes, and there's also a video on YouTube. Just real quickly,
Yeah.
there's a video on YouTube
Il y a une vidéo sur YouTube.
that I got permission from all the photographs I used, and it's a minute and a half of credits at the end, including Lauby, the guy who did the famous poster from the Odeon.
Donc une vidéo du coup avec pas mal de photos
Yeah.
d'artistes, donc où il a tous les crédits évidemment.
Right. So at first the Odeon said, "Oh, you can't use that picture in your video," and then I went to the artist's granddaughter, who also lives in Mauer, and she goes, "You go right ahead. You use that poster in your
Donc
video."
dans cette vidéo en fait j'ai un film l'Odéon et donc il y a pas mal de
No, but
posters
now it's
d'affiches et donc il
it's
a-
new management, and the Odeon, we
les
have a
droits.
good line, and they're they've taken me to lunch and the ownership, and they're very proud to have the song still playing after 12 years on Radio Swiss Jazz. They still have the song, so here we go.
Ok, perfect. So yeah. Donc on va pouvoir écouter du coup maintenant Odéon justement qu'on parle depuis quelques minutes, interprété toujours par David Holler.
Over there. Hey, that's what they have the piano for. Okay, Odeon. Here we go. Get my seat down. Okay. I know a bar not very far, less than a minute from the limit, close to the Cronin Hall, where literaries and Mataharis and Russian revolutionaries would meet after dark, drinking champagne by the glass or an Italian wine. The Art Nouveau chandelier takes you back in time. Albert Einstein I see with James Joyce and Hermann Hesse, saying nowadays too many people are willing to die, but not to live. Come drink with me while the night is young. We'll laugh with bohemians and vagabonds till the morning comes. We'll fly so high tonight at the Odeon. Odeon. Artists and painters, sinners and sainters, people parading up and down beside the boulevard. We'll drink espressos, write manifestos, chill with the Dadaist, expressionist, and the avant-garde. Sweet Lucy and Patchouli are in the air. Benito's incognito with Vladimir. Have a martini with Puccini, who's singing there. Well, now moment to moment, just live like you want it and hope to die before you get Come drink with me while the night is young. We'll laugh with bohemians and vagabonds till the morning comes. We'll fly so high tonight at the Odeon.
Ça bouge. J'adore. Donc ouais, rien à voir du coup avec la chanson précédente. A style completely different from the first song. I really like it, really jazzy. Yeah, take your time.
By the way, this is pure vodka. Pure vodka now.
Toujours sur le plateau, c'est que de la vodka sur le plateau. Pas de souci. On va venir un peu plus sur la partie créative, justement, process créatif de tes chansons. Est-ce qu'il y a une façon précise que tu as pour écrire tes chansons? Si oui, du coup, laquelle? So let's dig into the creative part of your song. So what's the process to create new song? Do you have like a really strict process, or do you write the melody first, then the lyrics? How do you do?
Yeah, I write the melody first.
The micro.
Oh, Dave. Come on, Dave. It's 2024, not 1924. Okay. Much like Paul McCartney does, he writes the music first. There's a clip of Paul McCartney writing Get Back in the movie Get Back. It's the documentary by Peter Jackson. And he's just sitting there on his bass, just, making up a melody and just making up the words that don't make any sense. They're called like dummy lyrics.
Okay, donc il écrit d'abord la mélodie et avec des paroles un petit peu bêtes pour après les écrire justement.
And so I'll do kind of the same thing for 15, 20 minutes. I never know what I'm going to... You know what it is? It's improvisation. But I'm improvising a different line, a different melody,
donc
and just kind of
15-20 minutes en improvisant différentes lignes, du coup, différentes mélodies.
Which is good. Mostly it's without drums, but sometimes when I write with Logic Pro, I just drag in I don't even know what the beat's going to be. But, there's so many beats, it's like a loop. Just, and then I'll just start playing with that, or it's a waltz. And then I just play for 20 minutes and just record. And then I play it back, and no. Oh,
donc il joue pour 15-20 minutes en faisant du coup des mélodies différentes, des beats différents, et puis à chaque fois donc il réécoute. Si ça va pas, du coup il recommence et il continue comme ça.
And sometimes I'll have a title. It's always helpful when you got a title.
Donc de temps en temps, du coup, il a déjà le titre, et donc ça l'aide beaucoup.
And like with Odeon, I knew what I was going to write about. So that's...
it gives the subject, actually, if you have the title. You know what you want to talk about.
Yes. So, like, there was a song I wrote with Urs Wiesenegger called Black Widow, and I was writing it for a girl. So now I can say a lot more. Right, okay. So Black Widow. What is a Black Widow? Oh, she eats the male after she. Okay, well that's something, and then wraps them up and
C'est la même chose du coup avec un titre qui s'appelle Black Widow.
Maybe that was.
Il a écrit l'histoire, sa chanson du coup par rapport aussi à ça.
Yeah, or a song I wrote, Invisible Man, and then I'm singing about when I play sometimes in a nightclub, I feel I'm invisible, like it doesn't matter who's there.
Donc pareil, du coup il y a un titre qui s'appelle L'homme invisible, et donc finalement ça parle de lui finalement quand il joue dans des clubs où de temps en temps il a l'impression d'être invisible aussi.
Yeah, but it's really the music, and then I go back and pick out parts, and then I structure the song. That's going to be the verse, this is going to be the lead, that's going to be the chorus, and then I just keep playing it back, and then I do the lyric writing, which is just coming up with words that don't make any sense.
Il part vraiment du coup de la mélodie, et puis il structure au fur et à mesure du coup avec les corps, les voix, les basses, et après il écrit les paroles.
If I improvise something, okay, well I was doing this last week. It was how do I not think about? It was something where I wrote think about you. Think about, and I didn't know what I was going to do about it. Think about you. Oh, okay. Well, I need to fill something before that, and now it's going to be, how do I not think about you? So it's going to be being obsessed with somebody. I can't stop thinking about them, and I got the chords, and I okay.
Finalement, il peut y avoir aussi de temps en temps des portions de mots du coup qui deviennent un petit peu le centre de la mélodie et des paroles, donc qui se concentrent du coup.
So that actually, I haven't even started to write the verses for that, but I'm pretty. It's going to be called "How Do I Not Think About You," and And so that's how the process goes. And I'm working on my songs every day, so I cannot not do it. I'm always, 15 minutes, you know what it's like. I mean, there's the piano. I've got 2 pianos in my studio. I have a studio in Zürich where I teach, also mentor songwriting. I work for a company called Instrumentor.
Il travaille aussi pour une société qui s'appelle Instrumentor.
Yes, in Zürich.
À Zurich, du coup, donc c'est du coaching, enfin c'est des cours de musique, si je me trompe pas. If I'm right, it's
school.
It's a school of music. So it can be songwriting, it can be producing, it everything.
And most of the teachers there graduated from the ETH. They have master's degrees, and everybody has to be qualified. So why did they hire me? That was the question.
Beaucoup de profs du coup sont très très qualifiés. Du coup, ils se demandent du coup pourquoi il a été accepté comme prof là-bas.
But the owner, Ciro, he had 3 interviews with me, and I had to sell him. I'm saying, look, I don't have a diploma. I can't even read music. But I have a history of working with artists and working with Universal and working with artists, and I want to pass on what I know.
Donc même il a eu plusieurs entretiens du coup avec le directeur en expliquant qu'il avait aucun diplôme et qu'il n'était pas capable de lire des notes de musique, mais qu'il avait un bon background du coup avec les artistes. Il avait beaucoup travaillé du coup avec eux et que ça pouvait servir.
So I'm not really teaching songwriting, I'm helping them enhance their own songs. So it's important for me to find out what the student is interested in, what kind of music that they like, and there's no rules, there's just
tools. Il n'apprend pas finalement à écrire des chansons, il apprend plutôt les...
Je te coupe parce qu'on a un commentaire qui nous dit qu'il ressemble beaucoup à Elton John avec sa veste.
Next song, right?
Okay. No, we have a comment of a viewer saying that you look like...
my wife going, where are you?
No, you look like Elton John, apparently.
I look like Elton John, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Because how many women go, ooh, Elton? No, I love Elton John. He's the reason why I do.
Je pense que c'est pour la veste, je pense.
I think it's because of the jacket, because you have a really nice jacket.
And by the way, this is a very expensive jacket. I want to show you see this?
C'est CA en fait.
And that means cost a lot. That's what that stands for. That's my little joke for the day. My dad took me to see Elton John in 1973 when I was 12.
Son père l'a emmené du coup voir Elton John quand il avait 12 ans.
Yes, and I'm a vintage Elton John guy, like 70 to 75. The stuff after, I like vintage Elton John music. Because some people say it's okay, but his vintage stuff really inspired me. But I did look in the camera one time. I did look at the camera when I was looking in the mirror, and I looked at here and my profile, and I said, "Oh, yeah, we got the same nose." You see pictures. You look at pictures of me when I'm 25, I look nothing like Elton John. But the older I get, that's okay. I'll take it. That's all right. I could do a tribute show. And
I think there is worse than looking like.
I've been asked to do tribute shows, and I was like, no, then you got to play the same songs all the time and stuff. But I love Elton John, that's sure. I love the Beatles and country music and the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and the 70s. I was a teenager in the 70s, so there was so much great music then.
C'est vrai qu'il y a beaucoup de musique du coup bonne à cette époque.
J'en profite pendant que tu fais une petite réflexion pour mettre un petit QR code juste ici. Voilà les amis, c'est juste en bas, juste là.
Another question?
No, he's putting a QR code to tips.
C'est juste là,
you and
voilà.
the show.
Vous scannez, vous faites un don et c'est parfait.
What's that again?
So some tips from the viewer. So we have a QR code, and they can just scan it and tip you if you want.
Oh, great!
If they want, actually.
Hey, that's great. Fantastic.
Alors, je ne sais pas si c'est parfait, mais on verra plus tard.
So we were just discussing about how you change from the years, so from 25 to now. You have changed physically, but did you also see improvement in your artistic side? So did you songwriting change?
I would say, you got to understand, I was 25 in 1986.
Donc en 66, il a 25 ans.
I wrote songs, but you had to have a publishing deal. You had to have, you know, a lot of backing. You had to have a record deal, a publishing deal. You had to have, you know, about having a record or getting on the radio. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe that's never going to happen, but I'm still going to write because I love
Donc à 25 ans,
writing
et donc,
music.
il disait qu'il y avait besoin de beaucoup de choses avant d'être mis à la radio ou d'avoir du coup des disques. Du coup, il savait pas si ça allait arriver, mais en tout cas, il a persévéré et continué à cette époque.
So when I met Urs Wiesendanger, it was all those years just kind of came out, and he introduced me to everybody. So when he's working with DJ Bobo or Reto Burrell, and he would just say, "Hey, this is Dave Holler. He's a talented songwriter.
So
you got to meet him." Urs Wiesendanger.
So Ross là du coup l'a introduit du coup à beaucoup de monde finalement dans.
Reto Burrell, you know, Reto Burrell. He's good. If you haven't heard him, look him up. He's great. And but he had a song called "Favorite Waste of Time." Let me be your favorite waste of time. Big hit, big radio hit. And I heard him on the radio, and I Googled him, and I said, "Hey, I think you're great. Let's write some songs." And we did. But Urs,
donc il a finalement
yeah.
du coup envoyé un message. Il a beaucoup aimé cette chanson et du coup il a écrit un message pour écrire une chanson avec lui.
He introduced me to everybody. He was very generous with that. And one, you know, as I think you can see, one thing leads to another. One door opens, and so I'm very optimistic that, you know, I mean, look where I'm at now. How did I get here on this show?
Now you're in Bill TV in Lausanne. That's great.
Yeah, that's exciting. So I'm very, you know, thankful, and thank you for the tea, Will. Will's great. Like Will.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So you, I guess, since many years now, you did a lot of performance. You did a lot of stage in Zürich, especially.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? How did you like the stage, or what do you prefer between the stage and producing and writing songs?
Yeah, I'm doing more performing now.
Donc il fait
Then I was just a homebody at the studio.
Plutôt qu'avant.
But as you could see, I mean, you could tell I'm having a great time when I play. And every time it's like, you know, gee, you should play live more, do more shows. So I did some shows at the Utocom, which is, you know, in Uetliberg in Zurich. And I played at a place called the Coffee Boy. And
Donc il joue à plusieurs endroits du coup à Zurich.
my next show, can I mention my next show?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Donc, son prochain show en novembre.
November 23rd. That's on a Saturday, kids.
Okay. Samedi 30 novembre.
At the restaurant Letzigrund, which is
restaurant
Letzigrund. You know the stadium in Zurich where the Rolling Stones played. Stadium Letzigrund.
Donc à côté du stade du coup Letzigrund où les Rolling Stones ont joué apparemment.
Where all the big acts, Taylor Swift played there too. Right next, you can walk to this restaurant, and I'm playing there on the 23rd of November on a Saturday.
Donc c'est samedi
and
30 novembre.
I'm not saying this because I play there. If you like meat, this place has the best steak I've ever had. That's what brought me there. I was just having dinner.
Apparemment a le meilleur steak de Zurich.
Great food. And then I said, hey, you know, this would be a great place to play piano. True. And they had a grand piano. So
I guess we can find all these dates on your social media.
Restaurant Letzigrund in Zurich, you can find that. Okay. If you just Google the restaurant, I just booked it yesterday, so maybe it's not on their website, but that's the 23rd of November on a Saturday.
C'est pas encore sur son site web, mais du coup ça va arriver.
Yeah.
Donc n'hésitez pas à le suivre sur ses réseaux sociaux, donc sur YouTube, Spotify, etc. Du coup.
And remember, I came here to Europe to play piano bar, so I play a lot of original songs, but I also play a lot of rock and roll, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Je me rappelle quand il arrivait en Europe, quand il jouait justement dans les piano bars.
Because I still do. I mean, I still do events and weddings sometimes, but I really like recording and making the music. So after Odeon, now it gave me confidence that hey, I can do everything myself. And then I released my album, Offline Friends. It took me 3 or 4 years to make it, but I finally did. And on my album, Offline Friends, Radio Swiss Pop chose 4 songs to play regularly, which is unusual that they do that for anybody. But I was very lucky
Donc
to.
il a quatre chansons du coup qui vont être jouées régulièrement du coup à la radio sur son album qui est
That's
juste
the
là.
CD there,
On
folks.
peut le montrer. You can show it.
Oh
at
yeah,
the-
see right there.
just here. Ah non, l'autre.
Where are we getting it from? Where are we
This one.
getting it? Oh yes, that's right. That's a bad joke. But anyway, and I made this with the help of my sponsor, Daniel Marbot.
Il a fait ça du coup avec l'aide de son sponsor Daniel.
At Gemassi, Gemasy, that's his company. It's interesting when you get a sponsor because he's an architect for kitchens.
Ok, donc c'est un architecte de cuisine.
All over Switzerland, like the SBB, so he's a major architect. And every time I had an English lesson with him, he'd give me a pen with his name.
À
He'd
chaque
give me
fois
a
qu'il lui
hat
donnait
with his
un
name.
cours, il lui donnait du coup des goodies finalement avec son nom.
And I said, Daniel Marbot's his name, and his lovely wife, Jacqueline, I had the idea, I said, hey, why don't you make a CD and put your name
Du coup,
here
il a eu l'idée
and give
justement
it to your clients?
de justement
Conversation.
créer un CD du coup et de mettre le nom de son entreprise dessus pour la donner du coup à ses clients. Donc c'est comme ça qu'il est devenu sponsor de cet album.
And every week for the English lesson, we would talk about the project. So he was really helpful with the artwork, and
Toutes les semaines, il parlait finalement du projet.
of course, I was writing the songs and I'd play it to him. So it was a feel-good project, and he was really helpful for
It's funny
sponsoring me.
because you have a lot of. Oui, vas-y Will.
Ouais, je vais encore te couper parce qu'on a encore eu.
We're running out of time.
J'ai eu encore des coupures d'internet. Alors pour les gens qui nous regardent, c'est revenu. Et j'espère qu'on n'aura plus de coupures. Voilà, c'est tout.
Okay, so we had our internet lost again. So,
Oh,
but
it's-
yeah, we'll
okay.
continue.
It's okay, it's okay.
So it's funny about this story because I think you have a lot of different songs or projects which come from not how to say that, some weird situation. Like the first song that you sing come from
One kiss, two hearts, one love.
from a wedding, if I'm correct.
Yes, I was asked again from my friend Marcus Roof, who I've been a consultant at his firm Rooflands for many years, but he's also a personal friend. And he just came to me one day and he goes, Dave, I'm getting married, and his wife is lovely now. They
Finalement,
got
du coup,
married.
la première chanson qu'on a écoutée, donc Vienne, a été écrite pour son ami justement qui allait se marier avec sa femme.
He says, we're getting married, and Dave, we would like you to write our wedding song. And I was like, I've never done that. I've never written a...
It's a beautiful gift.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's a amazing gift, and yeah, just like that, it's
Yeah.
just life, like just different time in life that you can just create some beautiful thing
Yeah.
just by meeting people and.
And they were the research. Remember, I told you I researched my lyrics. So I had several meetings with them, and we would talk about how did they meet, where did they meet, and they said it all started with one kiss. And I'm going, one kiss, two hearts,
Donc
one
finalement,
love.
c'est comme ça qu'il a écrit
Yeah.
les paroles, c'est en faisant plusieurs rendez-vous avec eux, en discutant de comment ils se sont rencontrés, comment ils vivaient leur amour, finalement qu'il a écrit les paroles.
And then we released it, and 2 months ago, it also got picked up on Radio Swiss Pop. So there.
2 mois après, du coup, la musique
Yeah.
a été reprise à la radio, donc comme ça qu'elle a marché.
That's great. And the next song, I think, is A Mountain on the Moon.
Donc la prochaine chanson sera A Mountain on the Moon. What you can tell us
Very
about that?
briefly, because I don't know
Briefly,
how
yeah.
we do it on time, but I'll try to keep it
Yeah,
brief.
a brief, and after you will sing
Okay.
it.
And my father also wrote some songs for Lobo.
Donc son père aussi écrit des chansons pour Lobo.
In the early 70s, he had a big hit with Baby, I'd love you to want me the way that I want you, the way that it should be. Now, I know you're too young, but that song was #1 in Germany for 13
Cette chanson a
weeks.
été numéro 1 en Allemagne
1973,
pendant 31
1971.
semaines.
Well, my father did not write that, but he wrote 4 songs on the album, 3 songs
Donc son
on
père
that
a
album.
écrit 3 chansons du coup sur cet album.
Big album. Lobo also had Me and You and a Dog Named Boo, all million sellers. So now, 2020,
En 2020.
Lobo is 83
Donc Lobo a 83 ans.
because I also have my own publishing company, and That's another story. But we placed a song in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but that's that Snoopy song that my dad wrote. We placed it in there. So I'm calling Lobo about publishing business for my father.
Donc il a rappelé du coup Lobo pour publier finalement des chansons avec lui.
And he said, Dave, you're a singer and a songwriter too. And he lives in Fort Myers, Florida. And I said, yeah, in Switzerland. I mean, it's not international, but in Switzerland, I have some things going on. He's going, I heard you on Spotify. I like your voice. And I said,
il l'a entendu sur Spotify, il dit qu'il aimait sa voix.
I said, well, Kent, his name is Kent Lavoie. It's Lobo, which means wolf in Spanish, just to let you know.
Lobo veut dire loup en espagnol.
Yeah. But his name is Kent Lavoie. And out of the blue, he says, Dave, I have a lyric text. Can you write some music?
Donc du coup, Lobo lui a dit qu'il avait des paroles et il lui a demandé du coup d'écrire une musique pour lui.
And remember, I write music first, then lyrics. So of course I said yes, like, yeah, I've got time. And he sent me the lyric.
Donc il lui a envoyé les paroles.
And I was really impressed, I was just impressed with it. And it only took me about 20 minutes, about a half hour to write the music and the melody.
Donc finalement, il était très impressionné. Yeah. Ça lui a pris donc 30 minutes à écrire la moitié de la mélodie.
And he wrote back and he said, Dave, it sounds like you've been singing that song for 20 years.
And I guess that was a compliment. C'est comme si tu chantais du coup cette chanson depuis 20 ans, donc c'était un bon compliment.
I said, well, Lobo, great, you're going to record it, right? He's going, no, you're going to record it. You're going to sing
donc
it.
Il lui a dit, donc maintenant tu vas pouvoir l'enregistrer. Donc en fait, Lobo lui a répondu que non, finalement c'est David du coup qui allait l'enregistrer.
So again, I recorded everything, played all the instruments, mixed, produced it, and then sent it to Radio Swiss Pop. Now, this was last year, and they were playing it almost every day for a while, and it's still on the Radio Swiss Pop playlist. And of course, I called Lobo, and I said, hey, it's getting radio play, and he's going, he was really happy about that.
Donc finalement, il a fini de produire la musique, il l'a envoyée du coup à Radio Suisse, et du coup, c'était ça il y a quelques années, et elle tourne toujours sur la radio. Donc,
so here we go.
On va l'écouter du coup maintenant.
Music by, I put this back.
Yeah,
music by Lobo, and music by David Holler, words by Lobo, Kent Lavoie.
Donc paroles par Lobo et musique par David Holler. On va l'écouter maintenant.
Okay. A mountain on the moon. Okay. See, it gets back. I got the pad here. Okay.
The night is closing in on me. The sounds and the smells of serenity. There's a soft wind drifting over the hills that wraps itself around me, and the gentle wind takes me home to you. You never want more than I can give. You love the simple life we choose to live, but the fear we had became the truth. What you want you cannot give us, and the gentle wind takes me home to you. You have always loved the mountains and the magic of the moon, and if I could I would fly you in a big round blue balloon all the way to a mountain on the moon. From the moon we'll watch the world together, sailing through the universe forever. The night is closing in on me. The sounds and the smells of serenity. myself around me, and the gentle wind takes me home to you. You have always loved the mountains and the magic of the moon, and if I could, I would fly you in a big round blue balloon all the way to a mountain on the moon, to a mountain on the moon.
Incroyable.
Elle était très très bien aussi celle-là. Donc c'est assez marrant, du coup tu as quand même des chansons, des registres assez différents. So you have different style of music that you like to play. Is it a choice? So you like to try all the kind of music, or is it something you just write song depending on your mood or something like that?
Well, when I do cover songs, you know, I'll do Creedence Clearwater, and I'll sound a little like Creedence Clearwater, you know, John Fogerty, but not like a copy. It's just has a flavor of it. You probably noticed in that song there was a little flavor of Lobo in it, because I was writing, it was his song. So it's a little different than what I do, but it was respectful.
C'est un petit peu du coup différent de ce qu'il fait habituellement. Il dit quoi, du coup on a pu entendre un petit peu les traces de, justement artistiques de Lobo dans les paroles.
So, I mean, Southern Louisiana rock, you know, I mean, a little bit of Elvis, and so I like different styles to listen to. So I guess
il aime bien écouter du coup différents styles.
I can emulate voices, but not sound like a cartoon. You know,
il peut du coup simuler du coup certaines voix du coup, mais
yeah, I mean, Billy Joel did that with Uptown Girl. You know, when Billy Joel's going, Uptown Girl, you know, he's singing like Frankie Valli. I thought it was Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons when I heard Uptown Girl the first time.
I like this song.
But he's
I like
kinda,
Uptown Girl, du coup, il dit que justement, il imite un petit peu une voix différente.
Right, and even John Lennon changed his style to a little bit like Bob Dylan. You know, hey, you've got to hide your...
Finalement, plusieurs artistes font un peu la même chose en changeant un peu leur voix du coup en fonction des chansons.
Yeah, I mean, the Beatles also kind of mimicked certain people, but they gave it their own sound. You know, so. Yeah, I'm just glad, because I didn't know if he was going to like that song, you know.
It's good.
Thank
It's
you.
pretty good.
Very much.
So we have seen that you did a lot in the past years, so you did a lot. And I guess you will continue doing all what you're doing.
Yes.
So writing song, producing music, teaching music and stuff like that. But do you have like one big challenge that you want to fight?
A challenge. Well, I want to play live more. I mean, you could tell I love playing live, and so I'm going to expand that more to play, you know, more gigs. But I don't want to do gigs 3 or 4 nights. You know,
Il veut faire plus justement de live, mais pas du coup jouer non plus tous les jours.
Once in a while, I'm fresh. I don't know if I'd want to go on tour playing 3 or 4.
Pas forcément faire de tournées.
You know, I'm not saying I could, but. I know it's a challenge because I did stand-up comedy. I don't want to do comedy necessarily here, but one of my students, because I told her a story about my father, Petrea is her name, Bergen, and she said, "Oh, this story about your father. I own a salon in France, and you could do a 90-minute show with multimedia, pictures, a piano, and storytelling." And I was like, I never thought of that. And she's going,
une de ses étudiantes finalement lui a donné une idée à la suite du coup d'une histoire qu'il avait racontée à propos de son père, en disant que finalement il pouvait faire un show de 90 minutes sur scène avec un vidéoprojecteur et un piano finalement, et de raconter l'histoire. Donc c'est une bonne idée. It's a good idea.
So when I know, and then I said, "You want to know something? Let's book the date, and then I'll have to do it." And she did. It was in March, And
So you did it.
I did it prepared a lot. I worked on it every day for,
Donc il l'a fait, il a préparé, il a travaillé tous les jours.
and it was supposed to be 90 minutes,
Ça devait être 90 minutes.
and it went 3 hours.
Et ça a duré 3 heures finalement.
And I asked the audience after 90, I said, is it okay? And they go, yes, but we want a cigarette. I'm going, sure, let's go get a cigarette, have some drinks. And they came back, and it was
Donc
only
finalement, il a
20,
demandé au public,
Yeah.
du coup, il a juste fait une entracte et puis il a continué.
it was only 20 or 30 people, but they paid to get in, and they advertised it, they promoted it. But what was I doing? I wasn't really, I was storytelling and then playing the songs, but
Donc
I had the
finalement,
pictures.
il était en train de raconter l'histoire, du
multimedia.
coup, avec
Yeah.
des chansons et puis un support média derrière.
So when you mention challenge, I've done all. I want to do. I've got a couple ideas where I can do that, but I'm going to look for some other venues and talk to some people about doing it because I really enjoyed it. I mean, I
Il
thanked her.
aimerait faire du coup quelques événements effectivement comme ça, soirée.
And when I drove home from France to the Schwarzwald, I took the long way home back to Zurich. I was just going like, I want to do that also. I mean, I'm going to do this,
En plus,
but
ouais.
to also do that and just do more performing because I mean, it's entertaining, but it's also educational, and it's people also learned a lot. They're going, I did not know about the Kennedys and the civil rights movement and things that were going on in the 60s and music history that was tied into those things. And so stay tuned. Maybe there'll be some more of those coming up.
So do you think you will retire one day?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, well, because you visualize it, you see it already, and then it's just showing up and then just doing the work. But it is a lot of work, but it's work, it's a
Et donc,
labor
un
of...
jour, il prendra du coup sa retraite, évidemment, mais but I think it's not for today or not tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
We have time.
That's right. But thank you, thank you for having me here. This has been great.
It's really good to have you.
J'en profite pour mettre la page YouTube de David, juste
One
ici,
more
le
song.
copain, c'est juste là.
How are we doing on time?
So we are on
Okay,
time.
that's good. I don't want to...
He's putting your social media on the screen so like that people can subscribe.
I really like this. This is really great. My mom's from Texas.
Ah, sa mère
She was born
Texas, du coup, ça
in
le rappelle un
Houston.
petit
Houston,
peu.
we have a problem. My mother was born in Houston.
Pour une fois qu'il y a quelqu'un qui aime mes cornes.
He said for one time someone like that.
No, because you can put your watch on it. You can I can put my hat on it.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Hey,
it can be useful.
Don't throw that away. If you do, call me. I'll buy it.
So let's talk again about future, but not especially you. If there is some people outside or watching or listening who wants to start writing song or producing music or stuff like that, for you, what would be the best advice to give them to start or continue?
Well, it depends when you're starting with it. In other words, if you do it because you have no other choice, because you just love to write, or you come up with little
Si t'as pas
ideas.
d'autre choix du coup parce que tu aimes écrire.
I think sometimes someone starting out can compare their beginning stages to the finished product of, Bruno Mars or Sabrina Carpenter.
De temps en temps, vous pouvez comparer du coup avec entre ce que vous êtes en train de produire avec les produits finaux du coup de grands artistes
And just remember that there was a time when they weren't very good.
et
Or-
se dire que finalement du coup même eux du coup il y a eu un moment où ils n'étaient pas non plus très bons et qu'ils sont arrivés là.
But they love doing it. So I have tapes of me when I'm 12 years old, and it's annoying. But in my mind, when I was 12, we talk about it. Kids, they pretend they're cowboys, they pretend they're doctors, or they
Donc
pretend.
à 12 ans du coup
And when I
tous
was
les enfants, du
12,
coup, prétendent.
I could make sound on the piano and sing, I remember
Donc il a
when
12 ans
rock
du coup il
was young.
prétendait chanter justement avec le
It's
piano.
my toy. So if you treat it like a toy, write the songs you would like to hear yourself.
Écris les chansons que tu aimerais entendre toi-même.
And I don't want to get philosophical, but Picasso was infinite in his art.
Picasso du coup était infini dans son art.
He did it till he died.
Il l'a fait jusqu'à sa mort.
And they say, oh, well, he was successful and he had a lot of money. And I say, yeah, but Van Gogh didn't. Van
Mais-
Gogh didn't, and he
Van
did
Gogh,
it
du coup n'était
till
pas très
till he
suivi.
shot himself. So we're in a finite world. Well, if I write a hit, then I'm good. And if I'm successful, I'm good. And that's too bad, because business is like that. If you sell this, then good. If you don't, like this. But art, the books, I'm just going to be very quick about this. The 3 books that I recommend to people just starting out.
Il y a 3 livres qu'il peut recommander du coup pour les personnes qui veulent débuter.
Stephen Pressfield, a book called War of Art, not the art of war. War of Art. Okay. The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. They can play it back,
Yeah, I won't translate that.
No, well, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And then there's also a very small book called Art and Fear. And it taps into, why is it that people make art when they're a child and then all of a sudden just they quit. They don't stop, they quit.
Donc prenez des notes et allez checker sur Internet ces 3 livres pour ceux qui veulent débuter ou continuer dans
And I never quit, not because I was going, maybe one day. I never had that in my head. It was like, I cannot not make music. I love making music. So it's not...
Il ne faut jamais abandonner du coup. Toujours,
it's not like, well then but success is great, but the process is more important than the result. But when I mentor and coach 18, 19-year-old students, and my main focus is there are no rules in songwriting, there are tools. And I always have the students bring me the music that they like.
Il n'y a pas de règles à écrire des chansons, il n'y a que des outils.
Right. So if
très joli.
A student brings in Sabrina Carpenter, I say, great, let's listen to the song. Where's the verse? Where's the lead-in? Oh, yeah. Notice how the intro is not 20 seconds? It's 8 seconds, So you don't have to do those things, but I have students study the songs that they like. And then when they write their own songs, they are discovering these things as the process. So I don't tell them...
Ils découvrent le processus d'écrire des chansons en justement écrivant les leurs. Et je pense que c'est aussi comme ça qu'on l'apprend. I think it's like that we can learn. Just you train, you try, and you fail, and you keep learning.
And even week to week. So I'm really big on... Write one song, it doesn't matter if it's good or not, you've written a song, now write another. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, write another, write another.
C'est ça, donc écrivez du coup une chanson, tu t'en fous si elle est bien ou pas, après tu passes à la suivante, en écris une autre, et puis c'est comme ça que du coup tu vas t'améliorer au fur et à mesure.
Repetition is the mother of skill.
La répétition
because they write 2 songs and they go, well, I'm no good, and then they stop, and then they quit. And that's what I try to encourage them. And I can always find something good. Someone 18 years old and they're insecure, I can always find something good in that song. And I'm saying, well, look, that's a good
quelque chose de
line.
bon dans une musique.
That's a good title. Oh yeah, come on. And then to see that progress 3 or 4 months later, then they're writing all the time. And then, of course, then it gets into now, are they going to have a publishing company? Are they going to record something? And then there's a business thing, which is completely different. But it all starts with a song. You got to write the song
first. C'est à force de
first.
travailler que la technique, du coup, s'améliore. Bon, après, évidemment, il y a toute la partie business musicale, du coup, qui vient après. Mais tout commence à partir des chansons.
And so much in the music business isn't involved with writing the song first. In other words, it's everything else that's around it. They don't spend...
Toute la partie business, c'est tout ce qui ne concerne pas finalement l'écriture de chansons.
And this is an important... Because people ask me, what do I think of Swiss music? I like Swiss music. And by the way, there is a portal called MX3.
Donc il parle du portail du coup MX3, donc qui est un très bon site justement pour découvrir et promouvoir les artistes suisses.
Oui, du coup en fait c'est sur
très très bien.
Attends, j'y arrive, est-ce que ça marche?
Oui, ça marche.
Donc c'est sur ce portail-là que j'ai découvert David.
Et actually, we discovered you
à ça qu'on
from MX3. We use it for the show.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
And okay, so you're a young songwriter. Okay, that's the tip I would give them. Study what's out there now, study other Swiss artists, and listen to what they're doing.
Écoute du coup ce qu'ils font, et puis travaille du coup par rapport à ça.
So I went to MX3 and I'm going, well, yeah, I've never heard of her. She's really good. And who's that producer? And where did they produce it? Where's the studio? So I listen to MX3 almost every day.
Écoute, ouais, donc c'est un peu à peu près tous les jours. Et en plus, ils ont refait leur plateforme. Elle est très agréable du coup maintenant à lire.
Oui, du coup, moi j'écoute aussi maintenant tous les jours pour trouver des nouveaux artistes.
C'est pas mal. Donc allez sur MX3 aussi, ça soutient aussi un petit peu les artistes locaux, donc c'est pas trop mal. Merci beaucoup en tout cas pour toutes ces questions. Je pense qu'on va passer du coup à la dernière chanson. C'est un grand plaisir de t'avoir avec nous ce soir sur le plateau. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I think it will be time for the latest song. It was a real pleasure to have here tonight. I think you can.
Yes, and just short introduction on it. The song is called The Invisible Man.
Donc la chanson s'appelle L'homme invisible.
I wrote it in Trondheim, Norway, 1996, and it's about playing piano bars.
Okay.
Oh yeah, not Piano Man. It's my own kind of different version of that, and it's also on Spotify and iTunes and stuff like that. Invisible Man.
Et sur les réseaux sociaux.
And thank you very much. This is a pleasure, both of you, and my manager and my publicist right there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pas de souci.
Okay, Invisible Man. Okay, let's get this down here. Try to hold me in your hands. I really like it. And it's hey ho and away we go. Well, another night, another show. Now I'm there and you're here. Now it's time for me to disappear. I am the invisible man. Now I'm the luckiest fool in the world. You're thinking that I must be the light of girls. Yes, I do, and yes, I don't. Most of them will, and most of them won't. I see a girl, think she's gonna be the one, but she's leaving in the middle of the final song. I thought later on we could have some fun, plus some motivated boy is taking her home. Try to touch me if you can. I really like it. Try to hold me in your hands. I really like it. And it's hey ho and away we go. Well, another night, another show. Now I'm there and you're here. Now it's time for me to disappear. I am the invisible man. Yeah, the invisible man, the invisible man. Yeah, the invisible man, the invisible man, visible man, the invisible man, visible man, the invisible man, visible man, 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 yeah. I see the working girls at the bar. I'm thinking to myself, hey, we got the same job. Everybody wants a ticket for a ride, but they don't care what you're feeling inside. Sometimes I'm high, sometimes I'm low, so I'm staying in the middle, so you never know. We'll talk, talk, talk till 4 a.m. Say goodbye to the invisible man. No one knows what makes me go so many places. I don't know what makes me go so many places. And it's hey ho and away we go. Well, another night, another show. I'm there and you're here. Now it's time for me to disappear. I don't know when I'll be back again. I am the invisible man. Yeah, the invisible man, the invisible man. Yeah, the invisible man. Ha! Invisible man. Thank you.
Bravo. J'adore. Je voudrais que ça dure toute la soirée.
Ouais, on aurait pu rester là toute la soirée. Et malheureusement, c'est la fin du coup de l'émission.
Et oui, il y a toujours une fin, tu sais.
Ouais. Qui est-ce qu'on a la semaine prochaine?
C'est une bonne question. J'ai pas regardé mes anti-sèches encore.
Ah mince.
La semaine prochaine, attends, faut pas que je vous dise de conneries ce soir, parce que des fois j'y dis des conneries. Hein. Alors, la semaine prochaine, c'est Red et Steven.
Ok. Très bien.
Red et Stevens. Ils viennent de Zürich aussi, je pense, si je me trompe pas.
Aussi, des Zurichois. Très bien. Et bah, hâte d'être à la semaine prochaine, en tout cas. Merci beaucoup. Merci Will. Bonne soirée à tous.
Merci les amis pour cette soirée. Merci David pour ta musique et puis pour ta bonne humeur et puis pour ta gentillesse et ta classe, parce que tu es vraiment classe ce soir. Je trouve que c'était vraiment classe. Donc les copains, je tiens à m'excuser aussi pour les coupures. Ça c'est à cause de Swisscom, il faut toujours un coup-up. Bah, c'est eux ce soir. Hein. Voilà. Donc les amis, on se retrouve la semaine prochaine avec The Red Steven. Et puis surtout portez-vous bien, c'est très important. Et je bafouille, je vais y arriver. Bonsoir, ciao, ciao et à bientôt.